You see, I thought this weekend was the start of playoffs, which officially leads to like the LTA title, or the thing that we are apparently working towards this entire split 3. But according to Riot, FlyQuest just won a LCS or LTA North title. Nah, that's some bullshit.
Into the pit! Into the pit! Everyone get in here!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to The Pit, your source for everything LTA North, and this week, LTA South as well, as we begin cross-conference playoffs. This is going to be a bit of a bulkier episode, including an interview with Henrique DaMour, who is going to be able to give us a little bit more context into the LTA South teams. So if you don't mind, check out his channel down below. I'll plug it in the interview as well. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and let's kick off what is going to be a slightly longer episode of The Pit, because we got a lot of things to cover from this past weekend and week. Starting with the games, we do have to quickly cover last weekend because one team is no longer going to be seen for the rest of the split, and that is Cloud9, to the dismay of many. Them choking once again at the final hurdle, trying to make it to just the qualification to get to Worlds, not even to get to Worlds. I do think that they had a respectable split despite the finish. 100 Thieves stepped up when it mattered most, even though obviously people are going to look at that Shopify series, and C9 fans are really going to want to pick Team Liquid again if they had that choice. Like, the worst part is this is a culmination of just several kind of crappy moments for C9 all at once, and when it mattered most in a Game 5, 100 Thieves steps up and clutches it up. A lot of people assume that the winner of this series would automatically go on to beat Shopify Rebellion. They were correct. That's exactly what happened. A quick 3-0, one of the best Yone ults that we've seen in quite a bit. And then a finals that saw FlyQuest trouncing 100 Thieves 3-1. Many people thought that that first game could have went 100 Thieves' way, putting it at a 2-0 status. But I continue to say that by the time the third game begins, when a team is coming in hot, that's whenever the team that's been rested is finally going to find their footing. And that's exactly what we saw. So FlyQuest takes home what is apparently an LTA championship. And I must say, I hate it to my core. I hate how much we have devalued these titles, let alone the name change. Like, the name change already sucks as is. But this was the knockout stage. This was not playoffs. This was like you were knocking out, like the verbiage of this was that we eliminated teams to be able to send the 3 that we need to cross-conference playoffs. This was not for a freaking title. Like, I get for FlyQuest, it's nothing against them. They are going to celebrate this as Riot has given them the right to. But I'm telling you, even as a 100 Thieves fan, had we won this, I would have sat there and been like, yeah, no, this ain't a title. Like, this doesn't buck our trend of losing 3-0 in finals to everybody. Like we have lost 3-0 or won 3-0 in finals. I think like every time that we've made it. I forget the exact stat line behind this. But yeah, this doesn't buck that trend. This wasn't a real finals. Like, we were in the studio. Texas is in 3 weeks. Like, how are we sitting here trying to claim that this is more important than it actually is when nobody really gives a shit at the end of the day? And I blame Riot for this. Again, like, the format, the structure of this year, of everything in general is just god awful. And thank God we are finally at like the end stage of this, where I'm still not happy that that one LTA South team like gets the guaranteed slot. We'll preview the matchup between FlyQuest and Vivo K-Stars here soon. But I just, dude, I want to get this year of North American League of Legends over at this point, at least from like a structural point of view, and hopefully get us to next year and something that we can build off of. Because luckily now the LTA North is done and finished. And I pray to God that I never have to hear the words LTA North, barring our titling of it this weekend, ever again. Bring back the LCS riots. Please tell me you are not stupid enough to keep this going into next year. The second major headline is that Bwipo is going to be suspended for that series in 2 weeks against Vivo K-Stars after sexist remarks. Now, I mentioned on the Rendezvous on Wednesday that I would talk about it a little bit further in depth in a portion of this particular video. I actually think I gave it as much depth as humanly possible yesterday whenever I did 3 straight hours of taking community conversations and community topics similar to Hotline League, and we talked about this in depth. I don't think I can summarize what I said there any better than what was said. So if you want to check out my thoughts on like everything around that, all the details, like the reaction of whether FlyQuest like gave enough or not, please go check out that video. It is entirely timestamped, even though Reddit, for something like the one time that a video of mine gets posted on Reddit, I never post them there. The top comment is just going in on the fact that timestamps weren't working when they were there from the jump. So I don't know what to say on that front. Like, there's no conversation. There's very little conversation about the like actual video. It's just, hey, there's no timestamps, and let's shit on Travis Gafford. That's Reddit for you. I cannot stand it. But as promised, we have two very important series this upcoming weekend. It is 100 Thieves versus Pain and Shopify Rebellion versus Red Kalunga. Red. I call them Red. And the winner of these series will face off against each other for that final slot at Worlds. That series will take place next Sunday. But we have these two series to look at first. I know nothing about the LTA South teams, but I know somebody who does. Hope you enjoy. I don't think anybody in the North is familiar with the three teams down south, barring a single dude who took his shirt off on camera. What can you tell me about the three teams that we'll be seeing, not only this weekend, but upcoming against FlyQuest as well?
All right. So we'll start with DeSamus, the juggler for Cade Stars, who, yeah, he took his shirt off. I don't know where that started, but he's just one of these kids. I don't know if it's like a drunk persona. You know how people have drunk personas?
Yep.
Right? Like, and with some people, like there was this kid in my fraternity in college. He was a runner, right? Which was all well and good, but on a walkable campus when there's like one main road that you're trying to like get everywhere to, if he's a runner, he's, you know, it's bad news bears. Yep. Maybe it's a persona of his. I don't know. But it's like, he's just known for taking his shirt off. I don't know why. Like, he's talked about it in a podcast. It's like so like if you win the title this year, like, you're gonna take the shirt off. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, I think so. I've been working out, and he looks like he's not in bad shape, but he's not in good shape.
Yeah.
Like, let's be clear. He just looks like a Joe Schmo. But like, it's just a thing. I don't know the origins of it, but like, yeah, it was kind of crazy that he took it off during like the trophy presentation, and that like that's gonna be forever the pictures. But no, but he was flipping people off. Like, I'm sure you saw. Like, yep. He is. And because he's got a lot of personality, but like his career started in 2020, I think 2020, either 2 or 3. I can't remember off the top of my head. But point is, he was dropped into a super team, which worked about as well as you think it would. Basically, like, he was kind of tasked with holding things together when it was his rookie year, and like, you know, just kind of managing all the different lanes. The setup wasn't good, and so, but he, you know, then he moved over to another team, Cade, and so he's been kind of the linchpin of this kind of 5-year project for Vivo Cade Stars. Coach CL, he's a guy who he was an assistant coach on the staff that won with Rogue in 2022, with Comp and Trimby, right? They had that unlikely run, and he's actually got Trimby as a support again on this roster. So he had a different roster last year. They got to the finals. They finished first in 1 or 2 of the regular splits last year, and played really well. But again, at the end of the day, just didn't have like a difference maker, a guy to get you over the top. And I think honestly, as much as I'm happy that CL and his project has gone the way it has, if Miru, the mid laner, doesn't go available on the open market between split 2 and split 3 because he was on Isurus,
yeah,
and then for some reason they let him go, or like, I actually don't know what exactly happened there, but he's let go. They snap him up because mid lane was their weak role, and Miru is coming in right now as the best performing right now player in the South, and that is where I think that an advantage could be had over Quad, because again, as Quad has had a better, like, you know, but he has been kind of the weak link at times.
Yeah.
But he's been powering up towards the end of the split, right? I'm a Quad respecter. I'm not slandering here. I think FlyQuest is an absolute wagon. Look, no one in the South is under any impression that we're gonna beat FlyQuest in a best of 5, even with Bwipo not being present for the games, as we learned an hour or 2 ago.
For context, for those listening, Bwipo just got suspended for the series only against Vivo K Stars because of the sexist remarks that he made. Not going to dive into the comments, just noting that he will not be available for that series.
That's a different video.
Yep.
So yeah, like, look, my prediction was going to be 3-1 because I do believe that actually but like Cade are they're a good solid team. I think right now they're performing like our best team, but I don't think they have the ceiling that a Furia did. I'll put it that way, especially after seeing them take G2 and then GAM to 5 games, right? Really getting now you could say how good were GAM and especially how good was G2 at MSI. That's a fair discussion. So maybe you took advantage of teams that were, you know, slumping at the right time. But point is, I think Cade could hit some pretty big highs. And I think they're kind of playing with house money right now. I think they've got almost like nothing to lose because like their biggest ambition was we need to win a domestic title, right? Because CL came in, this coach from Europe, and actually he's Korean-born Australian or Australian-born Korean, one of the two. Came over to Europe, applied his trade there, and he talks a lot of noise about like his methods, his systems, right? Like his 5-year plan, and then how 4 out of the 5 pieces of his roster got upended after the merger, and it's like but he took DeSamis, he made him into a really good jungler, a lot of experience. The bot lane is popping off, but the top laner, I think, Bol, or as pronounced in Portuguese, Boal, Boal, but we call him Bol like a bowl cut. And he's probably the coolest story on this roster. I have a tweet about it, but basically, he started off his career in 2019 with Vivo Cade Stars. In 2020, CBLOL went to franchising. They were left out of franchising, the original round of franchising. Then they took a team spot later. And then he just yo-yoed up and down. He was just a Band-Aid kind of top laner, yo-yoed up and down between tier 2 and tier 3, or tier 1 and tier 2, excuse me. And then he starts 2024 in tier 3, wins the open qualifiers, gets into tier 2, right? He won Academy in 2021, so he's always been kind of a promising talent who just never stuck at the top level. And then he went on an absolute blinder in the playoffs. He went a combined, I think, I got another tweet in front of me, like a combined like 12-3 with like going 9-1 in playoffs against like a couple guys in like Robo and FNB and Weiser, guy like former MVPs, right? Like guys who won a lot of titles. He played an absolute blinder. He's evolved into the best version of himself, I think. So the broad kind of TLDR about Cade, I think Brazilian fans are cautiously optimistic. My personal opinion, I don't think they will hit the same highs as Furia, but I think that, oh gosh, I had a broader point to make and I've forgotten it. But anyway, no. But they look fine. They look pretty good. I'm excited to have them represent us because also it's just you get some good you get some good stories, right? Mortes is a good AD carry. Like there's a lot to like about this team.
Give me the series prediction between them and FlyQuest with Gakos in.
Still probably 3-1. I almost got myself to say 3-2, but like, look, inspired's inspired, man. Yep. Busio's the best support in the West, man. Like. It's hard, dude. It's just really, really tough. I think the bottom lane could go okay. I think if we could lose gracefully in the bottom lane, I do think mid and top could be inflection points, but just like I just trust Inspired too much. I've been watching this dude for too long do what he does in various map states, various teams, various different styles of solo laners, do what he's done for so long. With the greatest respect to my boy DeSamis, who shirtless or not, he's not going to match up. I just don't see it.
There is one team that has notably dropped series internationally against quote unquote minor region teams, whether the rivalry between the North and the South be what it may. That's 100 Thieves. They go up against Pain. 100 Thieves is on a bit of a tear right now, looking quite good, despite some people's expectations. But what are they going up against in Pain?
They're going up against a team heading in the exact opposite direction.
Oh no,
they're in a downward spiral. So yeah, are you pessimistic because you think, oh well, this is definitely when they screw up then?
No, I'm not pessimistic at all. I just know the community might be. Oh. The community is going to think back to last year and be like, oh, but they lost to Summit and friends over on R7, and now this year,
this 100 Thieves seems like I don't know what the hell is in the water there, what Dokla is feeding them, but like you said, they look like a completely different team, and they took a game off FlyQuest, right? They look, they look good enough, so. It's not even a question, I don't think, of like which version of 100 Thieves is going to show up. I think it's a question more of which version of Pain is going to show up. But I do think it'll take a near perfect game from Pain, a near perfect series from Pain, and a reversion for 100 Thieves. Not to go back to like the disaster they were at the beginning of the split, but like, I don't know, if they revert to like a 7 out of 10 and Pain have a really good day, I do think they can take it. I think especially the bottom lane, I still believe that Titan on his day is the best player in Brazil. He's mechanically extremely gifted. He has the killer instinct you need as an AD carry. That being said, they're a mess right now. I don't know what the hell is going on with Pain. And they're like, they're like the Yankees, so everything is, bigger and brighter over there. The fans are in some of the most open revolt I've ever seen because like they finally got. Oh my god, no, they're furious. They're absolutely furious. Like, thank God they won that first best of 3. That like they're the first best of 5 in the winners bracket that gets you into top 3 automatically.
Yep.
Right. They're like Shopify and FlyQuest won in the north.
Yep.
Because since then. It has been just a nosedive. 3-1, 3-0, and they just look awful. It's basic stuff like not fighting with your AD carry. Which it'd be one thing if your AD carry was just a Joe Schmo. If it was me, who you can like kind of trust to like hit flash, hit cleanse, and right click people. But it's Titan. He's the best AD carry in the region and probably still the best player in the region. He is trying to drag this limp corpse of a team to Los Angeles to get something, anything done. I think the bottom lane is better than 100 Thieves is. Not by much, but I do think it's better. No disrespect to FBI and Ayla.
No, but that's good remarks, especially with FBI playing arguably like as the best ADC in the league this past weekend.
No, he's been monstrous. But if there's one, again, like jungle, shenanigans notwithstanding, I'm telling you who's going to win the lane because that's a more broader, question. But I think on skill, I think Titan and Corey, they can do it. I think they are marginally better, but the rest of the map is just kind of on fire. They brought in basically because like there's always like like Anthony Volpe with the Yankees, he's the whipping boy now, right? It was Aaron Boone, now it's Anthony Volpe, and now he finally got benched. And so like, but Payne, there's always someone who's a whipping boy. And in split one, when they lost 100 Thieves at the cross conference, right at kickoff, Dinkedo, the mid laner, was the whipping boy, even though he helped Payne to their first title just 6 months prior, right? And was on that team where Titan and Curry 2v2 killed Guma and Keria, right? That team finally got over the hump after 6 straight domestic finals. No, I think maybe 7 straight domestic finals, and they only won one of them. Right, and this guy was there through all of it, taking just loads of shit from fans on social media. He stayed through it all, won them a title, and then after one split, he was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. They bring in a Korean mid laner, Roamer, and I think he actually had some time in Tier 2 in NA as well.
Yeah, I think so. Team Liquid, maybe? I don't remember.
That sounds right, but he just hasn't cut the mustard. He's had some good moments, but like it just hasn't been consistent enough, and the top lane has been awful. The last he got solo killed in one game 4 times by 8 minutes. In the playoffs against Red. I think it was in game 1. It's been that kind of split for Payne. Like, and again, but then again, it's just like, okay, but like you're still playing Gwen, and guess what? Your opponent was Renekton. That matchup is supposed to go a certain way early on. Gwen is still a ticking time bomb. You took Ignite. Once you get onto Riftmaker Shadow Flame, you are a demon. You just right click and delete people and heal back up to full. And they just wouldn't fight with their AD carry, right? It's just like basic stuff that like has Payne fans absolutely losing their minds. Like I think often they're overreacting to everything, but watching them play, this might be the one time where I'm like, no, they might have a point here.
Yep. So what's the series gonna go then? Is it anything other than a 3-0?
I think I don't know, man. It's funny because we have a podcast where we talk about all this stuff, and like the cope for Payne has pretty much all year been that like they'll get their asses handed to them regularly. Honestly, sometimes they'll just kind of show up and just like puke all over themselves. But the very next day or series or whatever, they show up and they just smack whoever it is in front of them. They just take all their frustrations out. So it's like no one beats Payne twice in a row. But this split has completely thrown that out the window. So I have no idea. I'm going to say 3-1 because I just can't quit them. I do think they are a good enough team at their ceiling. They can do good stuff. But if there's a 3-0, I wouldn't be surprised. But if it's a 3-0 and they go home after one series, I think you're going to see literally everybody removed except for just Titan. Like, I think there's cause enough to just burn the whole roster down except for Titan. And even then, I don't think he might want to stay because it'll be probably a project roster. And anyway, yeah. So there's a lot on the line here. Okay. Fans are in open revolt. It's bad news bears.
I will say the one good news for you guys is I think the one series that everybody's looking at as your potential to win this is probably going to be against Shopify Rebellion with Red.
Yeah.
Shopify's been on. I mean, look, they played well in their singular series that they needed to qualify up to this point.
Yep. They showed up.
Then they got absolutely bitch slapped after that in both their series. So it's like similar trajectory to Payne, where it's like, they still could show up. Like clearly they won that first series against Cloud9. Cloud9 might not be at Worlds. The 2 teams ahead of them are instead, but like there's a world where everybody looks at it as like, can you guys get the better of Palafox like other mids have been able to do?
Well, and that's, I mean, you kind of said it, right? It is going to come down to that mid lane because Kaze, he is a rookie in terms of it's his first split in LTA South / CB LOL, but he has played in LRN, he has played in LRS, he has played in LLA, and he has played in 2 in Brazil. He has done the entire Latin America mercenary circuit, Grand Prix. This dude's a freaking baller. He has some clangers every now and again, but his ceiling is as high as I've seen from a rookie mid laner, or from a rookie. Again, he's not a rookie, but like from someone who comes up from tier 2, because he just smashed tier 2. But like, if I had a nickel for every time I saw a Brazilian, actually, and he's Argentinian to be fair, but if I saw a mid laner come up from tier 2 with just, again, highest expectation, just clearly too good for the level, and then just flame out once they get to tier 1, I'd have, I don't know, 5 or 6 nickels over the last few years. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't have missed out on any nickels because it happens every single time. The mid lane position is just absolutely cursed. It's been a talking point of Brazil. Like, look, we just don't have the mid lane, especially after Tino's, right? Dinkedo, this mid laner from Pain that I told you about, right? That was kind of like the last of the guard. And those guys had been there. Dinkedo had been there since 2018. Tino's been there obviously like 2013, right? He's an old man. And so it's like, well, who's going to save us? Turns out it's not a Brazilian. Turns out it's an Argentinian kid named Kyle, who, on Silas especially, if they let Silas through, be ready, man. That's going to be an absolute treat. And to your point, Palafox, if he's Palafaker, I still think that it could be, there could be some fireworks, but you just don't know which Palafox is going to show up, right? Did the casters say something mean about him and he's going to like internalize that as fuel? I don't know, right?
Does he understand enough Portuguese to hear the shit talk on the other side?
Maybe this whole series comes down to, whether he does enough Duolingo to learn some cuss words, or if Azeo says something on the die, right? But the mid lane is going to be the inflection point, because I think Kaze's ceiling is really, really high mechanically. And this team, I think they're kind of playing with house money, right? Because it is, you've got the top laner FNB and the support Frosty. They've been there for a long, long time. But after split 2, so the team's only been together for one split. After split 2, they took their tier 2 winning roster from Red Academy, one of 2 teams in LTA South that still have an academy team. They brought them up just wholesale, jungle, mid, bottom lane. Come on up, right? Again, we're playing with house money. And they took the tier 1 like a fish to water. They were absolutely awesome, right? They beat Pain in the what's it called? The classification phase. I don't know.
Yeah, the bullshit. Yep.
Yeah. But they beat Pain at the time when Pain were playing like the best team still, right? Or at least looking like it. And then they got bounced in a lower bracket, and then they ran a gauntlet, right? And so we had the same schedule as you guys, where like it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Super Week, right? And so they played 3 best of 5s. Yep. And one was a 5-game barn burner against Griffin and Loud. Side note, low-key crushed that Griffin can't be there on Loud to make his tier 1 playoff international debut against North America in North America. That would have been chef's kiss, but they got fisted in game 5. It was not pretty. But anyway, barn burner, 5 games there, and then they played another 5 games and another 5 games. I think, look, again, they're kind of playing with house money, but this, I'm gonna say like this is the biggest stage they played on, but at the same time, I don't know how loud the LTA North arena is going to be, especially compared to the LTA South arena. As far as pressure from internally and as like a loud crowd playing on stage, that type of stuff, they've been there and done that. I'm not worried about that. The only thing I worry about is like it's the thing that happens to Brazilian players every time, and more players have kind of talked about this, like older guys, right? Like your Tino, they've come out and said it. Like, look, when we go out there, we feel the pressure the Brazilian fans have on us. The fact that like we get one team, one representative per year, right? Maybe 2 if MSI goes, make it out of planes, right? But like they feel that, and they know that it's one mistake, right? And that it is so cutthroat if you are a minor region team, right? But now there are more outs, right? Now you have best of 3s, and an LTA South team is going to go right into Swiss, right? Potentially 2. So that's all well and good, but that's the only thing I would worry about, because I do think that, again, Shopify an extremely flawed team. So I think this series is going to be an absolute rock fight. To the viewers, if you watch one series this weekend, make it this one. Just pure entertainment. Don't worry about the quality of League of Legends, stupid shit like that.
Yep.
It's going to be entertaining as hell. This series is going to be awesome.
So, final prediction on that series. What do you think the number is going to be?
I think Red take it 3-2. I think we get one.
The follow-up question then becomes, it's 100 Thieves versus Red for that second slot or that final slot at Worlds. Do they have enough not only to beat Shopify, but to then take 100T?
They could. I don't think they will. I think it'll be a bridge too far. But again, I think they could, because 100 Thieves are playing a lot better, and they're not as flawed a team as Shopify, again, to me. But I do think they are still a flawed team, right? I think it's still like it's not a perfect comparison, but roll with me for a bit. I think how some fans and how I feel about 100 Thieves of like, it all kind of came together very quickly, and I'm like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And the other shoe dropping wasn't even playing FlyQuest, because you never expected him to be FlyQuest.
Yeah.
Like I think even the most optimistic, with the greatest respect to you, did you expect him to be FlyQuest?
No, there was something about my prediction for the series pretty much went as expected, where momentum is a hell of a drug. And the first 2 games, I expected 100 Thieves to just come out hot. You've been on stage for the last 2 days. Things are going to go well. Our team fighting, like regardless of who we were playing, genuinely was great, and I think is better than FlyQuest whenever we go in on even footing. But the problem was going to be once you hit game 3, FlyQuest is going to be warmed up. They're going to be ready. Their drafting changed pretty significantly. So did ours, to be fair, starting in game 3. And I don't know whether that's FlyQuest stomping them down or us making some really bad mistakes in both games 3 and 4 early on. Mm-hmm. But then, like, the FlyQuest that we were expecting to see came. I'm going to be more biased and say that I think on a good day, you clean it up a second time, that we stand a chance against them if we were to get the rematch in finals. But I know people are going to look at that and be like, okay, 100 Thieves do blow more smoke up my ass. Got it. Like, yeah, sure.
No, fair enough. Yeah, but like, I think I'm almost waiting for the other shoe to drop with Cade a little bit, and I think that's almost how I feel with 100 Thieves, where like, surely this doesn't, like, the Dokla vibes train has to stop somewhere. Maybe it stops at Red Station, but I at the end of the day, I think it'll be a bridge too far. I'll say, if it was 100 Thieves Red, I'll say 100 Thieves 3-1. It'll depend, it would depend on, like, okay, did 100 Thieves barely scrape past an awful Pain, right? Did Pain show up, right? How good 100 Thieves look, how good look, etc. But if you were to match them up right now, I would say 100 Thieves 3-1, because even like you said, like, they looked good against Shopify, right? It was a competitive 3-1. You still took a game off them, and yeah, I think Red for I think they were just exhausted by the end of the weekend, honestly. A lot of these players, it's a very young players, first time head coach. But this head coach, he was the mid laner or jungler, one of the two. But the INTZ team in 2016 that beat EDG at Worlds, the Brazilians call it the Exodia roster. That's still like the greatest ever roster, kind of just in terms of pedigree. He was on that team, and now he is into coaching. And he was brought in just in Split 3, right, with this new roster. They took a first-time head coach, 3 players up from Tier 2, and said, figure it out. And they almost, won the whole dang thing.
Dang. Well,
so, very excited.
I'm looking forward to it. Any shout-out you want to give for not only yourself? Are you guys going to be co-streaming the games?
I think we're gonna try to. We're gonna try to. I think it'll be more like watch party vibes. I don't think we have the rights to like show the images on our screen. Yep. But we'll do a little watch party. We'll have some fun. Be a little looser with it. But yeah, twitch.tv/LTA South. LTA Sul, right, is where you're gonna get the Spanish and Portuguese streams. But South, spell it like you would in English. Join us, and we're on Twitter at LTA South. We have a podcast and a Discord community if you want more. Peter Dunn, legendary coach from MCOY from 2016, Exodia, all that stuff, they're in there. LS is technically in there, but like he's not actually in there. But yeah, if you want to learn more,
where can they find you?
At Henrique DaMour, Henri like Terry Henry, QUEDAMOUR. And you've done a good job of plugging my stuff.
It'll be very much in the description. Yeah, don't worry about that. And I won't fuck up the pronunciation. So that's on me.
All good.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
I think that covers almost everything as a preview and hype up for this upcoming weekend and for playoffs as a whole. The one thing I do also want to note is that we are having a watch party at Brookland this Saturday for the 100 Thieves versus Pain series. If you're in the area, be sure to come on out. It's a fun time. I'm still trying to figure out what's going to happen with finals. Actually, when I get done recording this, I'm going to send a message to Riot and see if they have anything planned on the movie theater front, the thing that happened last year. And if nothing's happening there, then I'm going to start reaching out to bar owners and go from there. So I will hopefully have an update for you next week in terms of an LTA finals watch party on the Sunday that would happen. I would still probably show up late a little bit because I have to teach golf, but beyond that, I'll still be there. So I will let you guys know. Follow me on Twitter if you want to stay posted for everything. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already, and I will catch you on the next video in the next episode of The Pit. See you later. Bye-bye.